Right, afternoon. It's Friday. I'm going to get this ready because I've had some roofs dropped off ready today. Get it pulled out, get filler and that in it. I'll just show you a job. So, bumper's been caught here. It's come across and then it's dented it. But as it's dented it, it's like made like an egg shape here. So it's going to have to be pulled because swage line's gone. Swage line's gone from there to there. So we've got to pull this swage line back out, and as we're pulling, I'm going to try and tap this down to try and get wing back into some kind of shape. So I'm going to have 4 hours on it and just see what I can get it looking like, and then Lee can take over getting it primed up and painted, I suppose. Right, I've just drawn it up so I can put my air strap on. Foot dent puller, foot dinky donker. So I'm just going to pull it on swage line here. So I can pull this dint out, but I'm going to have to pull this and then tap it because this is high here. So that's what I'm going to do now. So be careful when I'm pulling this. Whole panel seems to be moving. You can see it all here moving. You can see it's coming out but then popping back in. I'm hoping when I keep pulling it on swage line it'll cause some kind of heat. It'll kind of shrink metal to try and get it into shape. I'll stop doing it shortly. I'll just get a little tapping stick. So now you can see we're tapping that down, it's popping it back out now. But there's another one there as well. Right, that's some kind of shape. So there's another dent here, but I'm just going to fill that one. So I'm just going to key it up now with an 80 disc, so I can get some body filler in it. So I'm going to get a skimmer body filler. Hit it with sander just to take the head off it and that little bit of stickiness. Strip. I don't mess about with all small stuff because I want to cut it. You can rub it. People rub it with smoother stuff like 180s and stuff like that. I'm going to put a nice quite filler on top of it all anyway. So what I tend to find is, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. What I tend to find is you do it with an 80, it does it quicker for a start, and it cuts it, so it makes it flat. 180s, which is smoother, takes longer to rub down. And it tends to glide and follow contour, but that's just me. You know, people do it with 180s and they do it fine. I'll finish off with a 180 on my smoother stuff. Tend to rub swage line there, so you can see it's swage line because it's good here. We know it's good here. So rub swage line good there. Rub swage line good here. It's a block, so it's just going to follow contour to some degree. You can see swage line coming there. Swage line there. Don't rub it too much because I need to do it at this side now and this side. See swage line? That's your swage line. We know it's good to about there. So we can just rub this in. We know it's good down here because can you see my swage line there, but it wants to go there. So swage line wants to go there. Mine's there at the moment. Swage line, just come in. I think it had a dent here, so I'm going to leave that there now. I think I've got enough there. I'm just going to try and join this and this together, but you can see it's running high. So we know it's good there at swage line, but there's still filler on it. So swage line looks to me like it goes like there. So I'm just going to try and shape that in now. And then back to your feeling to see if you can feel your filler, see if you can feel any umps and bumps in your filler. I mean, you'll have to rub it with something a little bit smoother to feel it if you're inexperienced with this kind of stuff. Because I can feel it because it's rough and I can feel any bumps. But you tend to, if you rub it, probably, you ain't got to get the scratches out, but if you just rubbed it with a 400, it'd feel smooth. So you'd be able to feel any shimmies or whatever if it was smoother. So I know it's good here, panel's good here, and it's good here, so I'm kind of trying to keep the main straight part of the block on the good part, and the rest of that block should just follow the curvature of the swage line and stuff, and I'm hoping just like with float, it goes smooth, you know, so I'll rub at this side, get it, you can see when it's a little high, but I'll get that a bit smooth stuff anyway, and then I'll come this way to get this side. So once you've done rubbing, so you're rubbing like that, it's good here. So when you're rubbing here, your block's here, so you're already halfway into filler. And then when you're rubbing at this side on your swage line where it's good, you're going to be about there, so you've only really got like that little bit to concentrate on there. And it's just mainly, you fill it there, make sure that's good, and then you just join them two pieces together. So yeah, feels alright, feels good. So here, I'm just going to do the same again. I'm going to concentrate here when I know it's good, and again here, and then swage is there, but it don't look like it's had any damage or out there. There's a dent there, but it's not took the swage line, so I can work off at swage line there, then about here. So all I'm going to do is just join them two together. Very good, very nice. Like I've just said, hey, rubbing it with some 400s. I'm going to rub it with 180 because I'm going to put some smooth in it. Just going to get a block with 180 and have another feel at it, and then I'm going to put some smooth in it. Right, that's U-POL Easy One, Easy Sand as they call it. Now I just use that for a deep fill, that's to get the shape, basically, that's all. I know there's rub throughs and stuff like that, so now I'm going to put some smooth in. The smooth, basically I try and get it as a full skin, so I want to put it here and here, and just basically follow it round. And in my head, I always think I don't want to rub through at all, I just want it smooth there, where I rub them together, put the swage line in and have a nice skin, a light smooth body filler. So as long as you rub it flat, it's not ripply or out like that, and that's the only thing you need to be worrying about. But I always end up tickling it too far and having to probably rub through to this. But I kind of try and use, because it's already there, shape's there and dent's gone, I tend to just use it as a primer. I'm going to prime it anyway, but I tend to skin it so that, like, such as this now, if I want to paint this, you're going to have rub throughs here, you're going to have different, you've got paint, filler, paint, bare metals, just different like layers, and it's just not good for me, so I'm just going to try and skim it, and when I rub it, I don't really want to rub through, but it don't matter if I do, because I'm going to put some high build primer on it, but that's what I try to use the smooth stuff for. So I'm going to bang some of that in now. I've clean spreader up, and these are shite. This is what I'm using for smooth. Evercoat, Range, Optex. I don't particularly like it. I used to like Upol Rapid. I'm not bothered about Dolphin, because I've got another product called Dolphin which is really smooth, but it tends to run and it's just not very easy to get in. But Rapid's brilliant, but it's dear. They put price on it. They put price on it up. So I can't remember what it was. It used to be about £15 a bag, and it used to be an 800 bag, and I think it's, I don't know if it's 25 quid, somewhere around there, can't remember, and it's not an 800 bag, I think it's a 400 bag. So they've put price up and lowered bags, so there's not as much in it. So you've just got to find alternatives. This seems to be doing it alright. I don't think this is a finisher anyway, I think this is just a normal filler, but it goes in smooth. Just get plenty in at one side, try and get plenty in, and then you can drag full lot across. So instead of trying to put a bit here, just keep putting it in here, and then drag it a bit in, and drag it across. And you can kind of try and put swage line back in with two different angles. If you keep using top and bottom, you can kind of get a feel for swage line anyway. And there you go. This is changing colour filler. So it goes in pink. And then when it's dry, it's like a bluey grey colour. Where's me heat gun? Here we go. So I'll speed video up here. You should be able to see this change colour. Now you've got to make sure it's fully cooled down before you start rubbing it, because sometimes heat through panel will change form at panel. So when you're trying to rub it down, you might end up getting shape mint. But then when panel retracts and it's gone back to its cold state again, it'll probably move, and then you'll just struggle getting it. So you're better off laying it to cool down. And then sometimes filler bit, when you take your first coat, when you've got your first bit of filler on, like these smooth stuffs, they're dry, but your first couple of cuts with sandpaper tends to clog sandpaper, because it's like, if you can hear, it's like sticky. It feels like I could move it. Yeah, it's sticky. So, I mean, it's up to you whether you do it or not. You can just get a bit of dust off at floor, and you can just rub dust into it. It just gets shut of that stickiness. So when you start cutting it then with your sandpaper, it tends not to clog sandpaper up straight away, so you can get a bit longer out of your sandpaper. Or just get your hand mucky with it and then just smack it on. I don't know if it dries, it just feels drier when you touch it. But sometimes these stuff, it always feels wet for ages and ages. I mean, there'll be a drying process on it, it'll tell you how long it takes to dry. So yeah, I'm going to hit it with, that's 180. Again, I'm just going to take the top off with an 80. Just to get something like Probably thinking it's not had long enough to dry either. It's 2 o'clock. Just trying to form swage line back. So it's starting to get sharp, but it's just rounded here, so I need to try and get that line. A couple of little tricks you can do. You can put black on it, you can draw it on, you can measure it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I think I'll just put some black on it and see what it's looking like. See if I can sharpen it up with a bit of black. Yeah, a bit of black guide coat. Probably, if you're doing it at home or whatever, maybe use a bit of soot, a bit of black soot if you've got a coil fire or something. Black it up and then just have a look, see where your swage line goes now. You can kind of see where it wants to be running. You can see it's swage and it's disappeared and it wants to be there. I don't want to take too much out of this top because it feels nice. I'm just rubbing through the normal filler I've got underneath. I didn't really want to do that, but it don't matter. I'm just going to try working up bottom now and bringing it up. Oh, apart from that little bit there I've seen. So yeah, kind of happy with that. What shall I do now? I might just sharpen it up. I can sharpen it in primer, but I'll just sharpen it up. Just make swage line a bit sharper for video, in case obviously you're using aerosol primers and stuff like that. Because the primer I'm putting on is a filler primer, so I'll be able to put a right nice sharp swage line on that with the amount of primer I'll be putting on. But if you're not using that, I'll just try and sharpen it up now. Again and all, if you want to know roughly where swage line goes, I mean, there's like little tools you can buy that run on bottom like put a pen in it or whatever, and it like runs on bottom edge at wing there, and it just runs underneath, and you put your pen in and it just scribes. But I ain't got one of them. You can probably buy one or whatever, but I mean, I've been doing it years, and I've never had one. So I normally just sometimes, I don't normally do it, normally just try and get it like we've just seen, with just rubbing it flat with blocks, but you can kind of draw them on and see roughly where they're going. So if you just get some sandpaper, one of these if you ain't got one, find a good part at swage, and just put like your finger underneath it there, so you're holding sandpaper up against it where it wants to go. Just adjust sandpaper so you can see where you're going, and then you can just tend to just draw it on just to get a rough idea where your swage line wants to be. So as you can see, it's good there and good there, and that looks like a nice curve to me. So then when you've got that in, I mean it's alright here, so I'm not going to bother, but when you've got that in, you can kind of just sand it to it until you see it disappearing. It gives you a good guide to get it relatively in line. Right, I'll just feather edge it, get shut all them scratches with some sandpaper, 320 I think. I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, 320. You can kind of paint over 320s with solid colours and that if you put plenty on, but I would never advise it on silvers and things. But we've got some scratches that's in it, so I'm just going to buzz them out. you can get these interface pads. And it just flexes a little bit when you're going around curves. So this is knackered really, but it flexes for going around curves so you're not rubbing like flat spots on it. You see them scratches there? Them scratches, that's what I'm trying to get shut to now. They're the 80 scratches when I've been rubbing it. You wouldn't have them if you'd have been rubbing it with a 180. So I'm just going to buzz them out, them scratches, with this 320. Still 320s. Right, I've done it with a 320, so I can just put my primer here with my repairs on bits of bare metal. My other spray will go up here anyway, but I don't have to put like a full coat of primer up here, just one coat will be fine. I'll not have to keep priming it and priming it, like I'll probably put 3 coats on this. But I'm not trying to hide out up here. I buzz them scratches out, so just one even coat up there, it'll be fine. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to scotch wing, that's keying it all up, taking shine off it. Ready for my primer. I'm going to probably scotch door as well. We'll see. I might just get some primer. What time is it? I'll probably scotch them both. I'll get them both scotched up. Normally I could get some primer on it, rip primer off, rip maskings off, and start prepping door up. So I'm productive all the time. So I can get my primer on. I'm working, and then when my primer's drying, I'll just be getting on with door, getting that prepped up. So just, I'm not waiting for paint to dry, if you like. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to scotch this wing up with some red scotch, key it up, ready for some of my primer to stick. I'll probably prep it for paint as well, so I'll do all edges and into the bumper and get some primer on it. I'll probably skate over this again after it's primered, because I normally, you can use you can put a bit of scuff compound on it, that's a bit of paste to make it scuff a little bit easier. But I'm just getting it ready for primer, so I'm just making sure it's all keyed up, ready for my primer, so I can get some primer on it relatively quickly. I'm trying to do it the most quickest way I can, because I want to get this primer on, and then it can be drying while I do the rest at work and just get door and that ready. Because I'm only painting door for colour, I'll just be scotching it up and keying it up, or I'll probably do it like with a bit of lubricant or some kind of scotching paste. Or panel white maybe, and do it without really. I'm only painting door for colour, so colour match is nice. Sometimes it's just easier messing about painting it and then demasking it and then trying to get another colour for it and mask it up again. It's just blend doer. It's no biggie. Like I say, I've only done bumper for scratches, it's scratched in that here. I've only done it for this, so I'm trying to keep my colour, I'll be flicking my colour down here, but I don't want to be going massively into bumper with lacquer. But otherwise, if I did that stone chip, then I'd have to do that stone chip, that stone chip, that stone chip, and I'd be painting full bumper. It's not in for that. It's in for scratch doing, that didn't, so that's what I'm doing. Just make sure, proper way would be to drop bumper down and do it that way, but just make sure that if you're not, just make sure you get a good scotch, even fold it, get a good scotch in them edges and right light to make sure you really give that a good one. Get all a good one, but if you're going to be lazy, just don't do it. Now, a bit of masking, I'll just put up by it. Probably wrong side. Alright. Things going my way. Okay. Right, masking. It's a new one, so it's a bit tricky to get off first bit. Headlight. Try and get one down there as far as you can. next in. Your tape, just back mask inside that wing. Oh, tricky there, tricky, tight hinge. Not normally that tricky on most motors. Yeah, so you just stick your tape to the back up wing, and that's your sticky still. I've done under here, just check, make sure the code's not under here. No code. Probably a bolt anyway. Yep. Just pull that back. Like so. Neaten down it, so when you're tacking it, panel wiping it, it's not sticking to tape that's like upwards sticky, so you're not like panel wipe or bring glue off a tape. You don't want to be rubbing that around the car. If you can get it cracked, put it in. Just putting this on for primer. That's actually masked up for paint up there. Tape's not sticking to it down here because it's been tyre slicked. You know, shiny stuff they put on wheels, it's been tyre slicked, and when it's been drove here, all tyre slicks come off and it's come up panel, so all this is very slimy, and this is as well. I know I should be taking it off really, but I'll take it off when I get around to painting it. I'll drop it back. Just can't be arsed right now. Right, you don't want no strong edges, so you don't want to be taping up by putting your tape like that, because when you primer will hit that edge. When you demask it, you'll have like a right hard edge, and sometimes you can see it when it's painted, so when you paint it up you'll never get shut to that edge. So I tend to like just get some tape, just fold top of tape over like that, and just pull it. And then just stick it like you would. You know, and then when you paint it, it's not a dead edge. That paint can kind of get under it a little bit. You know, so you ain't got that right dead edge, which is a nightmare to get shut on. I mean, like I say, when you're rubbing primer down, you're rubbing it with something small like a 500. I have dead edged them before, but if you're using a 320 on block, you can get shut on it. But if you're going to be 500 in and stuff, it's just better to have like a softer edge for it to go up to. So I'm going to mix some primer up now. Right, I've just mixed a bit of I-Build primer up. I tend to use black primer because when it's shiny and stuff, you can kind of see what your lines are like and stuff like that. So I'm going to prime it up in this. Now, if you're a bit of an aerosoler and you're going to be aerosoling it, I'd probably spend a little bit longer with 320 discs. Get it a little bit nice. And again, another rule for aerosol. I mean, if this car were getting sold or something like that, or you're just selling it, aerosol it, it'll be fine. I mean, we're a body shop, so we've got to kind of put warranty and stuff. But if I were to aerosol it, if you're using aerosols, I'd aerosol it all up. I'd get it all looking nice. I'd let that cure, and then I'd flat the aerosols with 320s again. let it dry, clean it, and then so I'd leave it masked up and then re-prime it. So I'd like kind of prime it twice. That's what I'd do it if I were aerosoling it. So then obviously your aerosol would go on it, it'd sink into any kind of filler while it's drying. It'll have sinked as far as it's going to sink, and then you take top off it, make it smooth, and then just recoat it then, and just use your last 2 coats as a surfacer. You don't have to do that with this. You can this is real thick stuff. You can work with it a bit better. So I'm just going to prime it up now. Just test and see what it's painting like. Look, all LP80, like these guns, you don't need loads of pressure, so you're not throwing primer all over the place. Perhaps turn it down a bit more. So yeah, you can see it sways line. I mean, it's not as sharp as it should be, but I'll be able to get that with primer. So I'll be able to put some tape on it, sand up to it, take it off, tape, well, just one way. I only have to do it one way, so I can put my tape round there, flat it that way, rip tape off, sharpen it, done. You can work with this a little bit, but that's the primer. Repair looks nice, everything looks good about it. Like I said, just sharpen, swage up, and all good. Again, can you see, I've kept away from up here anyway. But if I were to go up there, I'll put a little bit there because I've just seen a bit of bare metal. So yeah, there's no dead edges. Even though I've come close to it, it'll not be a dead edge. It'll just sand off nice. And as you can see, this gun, local it keeps it. You know, I've just painted that little bit and look how local it is. There's not paint everywhere. There's primer here. I mean, I've come down wing and you can just see a little bit of overspray here. On wing, you can even still see colour at masking, you know, so it does keep stuff local, this gun. You don't have to mask full cars up and stuff like that, especially for primer. And you can paint with these, it's not really just a primer gun, it's just alright art in up and shot. You're not blowing it all. I mean, a normal gun, blue motor over there, it'd be covered in primer overspray. There's no Telsit shot, luckily. But yeah, this keeps everything local. A nice gun. So yeah, what I'm going to do now, just going to let that really dry off because I put a lot on. I'll let that I'm saying dry off, it'll not dry, I'll just let it get 10-15 minutes to cure a bit. It'll kind of soak into filler. So and then like flash off like skin over, and then when I put another coat on, then it'll sit on top of it then. So it should be nice. And you can tell it's not really orange peely. It don't look thick, you know, right horrible, so it only needs a skate over with sanding block, so it'll not take long to get that ready. But yeah, you don't want to see me carrying on waiting for it to dry and put some more and more, and I'm just going to put another coat on when that dries. Just going to stop camera now. I don't know if you can see that from camera, but can you see how it's still wettish here? But here, it's dry, but here's wet. That's what we're talking about, the primer soaked in to the filler. And that's what we're talking about when it'll just soak in. So now when I put another coat on, it'll sit on top of that. So I'm going to put another coat on now. Have a pot of tea, let it skin oil a little bit, and get on with prepping dough. Yeah, I just pulled that off. It went on really tight. It's got like a bit of a bow in it. It's not bent. It should, when I put it back on it should click into place and add its natural form again. I'm not going to try straighten it because I'll probably end up kinking it before I put it on. But yeah, do a angle out and all if I can. Right, I don't know how to take a door angle out of one of these. It's the same as all VWs and stuff like that. I've never taken one out. I normally get Lee to take them out. Me does bits of stripping like that. Well, he normally does all painting, but he's not in today. And I've been doing a bit of painting anyway, so been prepping his own stuff and painting his own stuff. So I'm gonna have a go at one of these for the first time. They're normally a little star shape where you used to take out like a torque bit, you used to unscrew it, pull the angle out. But apparently, I think you meant to just pull it somehow. I don't know. And I'm not going on YouTube. I'll just struggle with it, see if I can get it. Might have to YouTube it. Let's have a look. How'd you get door angles out? I don't want to go on YouTube. How do you get the door angles out? I don't want to go on YouTube. Easy? How? I'm going to go because it's a bad line, I can't get through. I'll YouTube it. In fact, I'll leave it in. I'll catch you later. And that was that. I'll leave it in. I'll leave it in. Right, we're prepped up with some red scotch. I'm going to clean it up. Probably do it with panel wipe. No, I'll use some scuffing paste. I'll get some scuffing paste on it and red scotch it. Get it prepped up. Scuff stuff. Bit of water, red scotch. Got some more water on there because it's not sliding. Yeah, it's just a red scotch, just to take shine off. Key it up so we can put some clear lacquer up here, because we'll base wing up, I'll prep that, and then when you paint it, you'll just put red. Sometimes fancy colours, you'll just put a bit of tape, a bit of paper down there, base the wing up until it's covered, take the paper off, and then just put last coat into door, so you've got the same colour. They're both same colour, but sometimes they're off a little bit. So you put the same colour on the door as what's on the wing. So your colour will be correct, and then you just put clear lacquer rest at door. So that's what I'm prepping this up for. So all here, when I'm working on it now, it'll just be clear lacquer. Angle will be coming out, because you need to prep right up to edges. When you're doing this, try and get all tar off and stuff like that. You're going to be power wiping it anyway, but try and get all like little black bits of tar off at tyres and that. What's come up, and it could be rubber off at tyres, tar and rubber. Try and get it all off, because it's only clear lacquer. So even still, if you've got black up here and you lacquer it, you're going to lacquer it in and you're going to see it. So you may as well get it off now. You see here, these are black bits. We need to get these off.
Don't spend ages looking for them at the top of the door, they're all at the bottom. A lot of them at the bottom. Just made that mistake. So yeah, that's that. I'll try and get it dried off. What we got? Let's got something on that rag. Dry it off, have a good look round it, see if you can see any shiny bits. Got any shiny bits? Mat them off. I know we've got round door angle, but we'll be taking that out and we'll be scotching it. We'll probably do all that in oven. I'm going to get a grey scotch up front because it's not as coarse as red. Grey's not as aggressive. So I'm going to use grey scotch on front, which blend's going to be, because we're just going to be blending it out. So I'm going to be putting a bit of thinners on it and stuff like that. So I'm just going to grey that. I don't want it as rough. Here we go, some grey scotch. You could again scuff it if you wanted to with some scuff. But I'm not asked. There's only a bit to prep up. Just trying to clean it because I was struggling to get tape to stick to it. Bit of panel wipe, degreaser, whatever. Get a 320 on board. Don't use that one. That's wetter. Some panel wipe. So I've just made like a swage line out of tape so I can kind of see where it wants to go, and I'm just going to sharpen that up now. You don't really have to do this. This is just if you're struggling to get your swage line, you can kind of just put. You can't use this tape because it don't bend. It'll bend that way, but it'll not bend the opposite way. So I've just got some fine line tape, or you could actually cut some of that down middle if you ain't got no fine line tape. And just try and follow that same contour with tape. Try and keep it like in a nice swooshing motion. We don't want it looking like a 50p piece. Take that, I'll just rub this bit here off that bumper. There, I've got some 320 scratches in that now. I'm gonna 500 them because you can't really paint off a 320. Again, I'm going to continue to use blocks. There you go. Blow that off. Continue masking it up. Again, same as wing, just back mask it, stick it up back at the door. And then same as wing, just nail it all the way down. I can't do that just yet because I'm going to get Lee to not do an angle art. So yeah, I'm going to keep it masked like that so you can take door angle out and we don't have to re-mask it, because I'm just going to back mask it like that. I'll take window up and other bits and bats, but I still need it so the door opens. Like I said, there's some kind of, it's like a hook, you have to put a hook in, grab it, turn it and then pull it and then it just comes out. But I've never done one, so I'll just let him do it, and I'm not googling it. I refuse. Right, I've got it prepped up, I'm just going to show you around it now. So I've taped up right on edge. You can back mask on that line as well if you want, but I do it like that, it's just quicker, rubber covers edge up. If you do it this way, just make sure you really scotch and key this edge up here. I mean, there's only a mil on edge, but really make sure you give that a good rub, because you don't want to be pulling this tape off and then pulling paint off after it's painted. So just make sure you give it a good rub, or put your tape down back facing the other way, try sticking it with a spreader or your fingers and then taping it. It just takes too long, that's just quicker for me. But I've masked this job up so the door can be opened, because I want Lee to take my door angle out. I had a rub through onto some barrier, so I've just did that with a little bit of aerosol primer. But yeah, we're all taped up, ready to go. I'll just get colour code. In fact, I'll have to write this on because I don't know if he's going to paint it over the weekend. Let's have a look. LY3D. So that's Tornado Red. What's normally on the older VW stuff. Well, I'm saying older. There's a 13 plate. But yeah, I can remember Tornado Red on like old Golfs and stuff like that. I mean, it's a 13 plate. We do transporters, and it's cherry red, what we know it as. Well, it's not the same colour, but we use cherry red. So yeah, that's a mistake that we better not. Well, if he just goes ahead and paints that, he might just end up chucking cherry red in. So I'm going to write code on screen, just in case he paints it up at weekend. But I hope he gets some footage so I can add it to this video, just to show you what it's going to look like when it's done. In fact, I'm just going to put a bit more aerosol on that there, because you can see me rub through there. You can see where it's just soaked into primer. So this is what I was saying earlier, if you're aerosoling it, and you put some aerosol on, if you just, can you see how aerosol soaks in? So you can just wipe it. And just get a bit more. So yeah, that's that. We're going to be blending here. That one's cleaning off. So we're going to be blending it there, just under paper. Again, like I say, he'll put his, or I will, if it's Monday, I'll be painting it. But we'll be putting red here, just on that part. So we'll lost it here, and it'll just be clear lacquer coming up here, and then thinners. But if it needs to, or I need to, we can just rip this off and just blend it out a little bit further if we need to. He's got this to tape up here if he ends up doing it. Like I say, normally you just go straight across with paper. I've taken mirror off as well. Mirrors here. I've taken mirror off. I'm not going to tell you that mirror comes off because you're probably doing it on a different motor. But yeah, I've whipped mirror off. So yeah, as long as, I mean, if he's painting it up at weekend, I hope he does get like a video on it getting painted, and then I can obviously voice over video and just tell you what he's doing and how to do it. But yeah, look at the mess we've got. We've got plenty of mess. So yeah, colour code normally on VWs is in boot. Most VWs it's in boot. Audis it's in boot. On Audi up there it was in boot, but on back at light. But on your transporters, if you're looking for colour codes, you've got two, like if you've got like a T5 transporter, the older style transporter, it's here because they ain't got a boot, it's a van, so it's normally under here. And then the newer transporters, such as like 15 onwards, T5.1s and stuff, it's here on seat base because you've got like a box here, and they normally just stick it on seat base here. So yeah, don't be looking at boot for colour code on one of them if you're working on one of them. But yeah, basically straightforward. Like I said, base coat here, around this area. He'll not bother taping it up, neither will I, because there's plenty of room in door. We'll just red it up. There's no hard about red. So you can just tape it up. You can just, normally if I fancy a colour, you just tape it off there, put your colour on, make sure it's covered, take it off, and then put your last coat on and just flick it into the door. But this won't, he'll just paint it, and whatever other spray goes on there, he'll go on there, and then he'll just lack it full door. And that's that. 10 past 4. So I think I started at about 1 o'clock. So 3 hours getting it filled, primed, rubbed down, scotched off. And yeah, it's masked up. It'll take 10 minutes to mask up, finish, because I've done all awkward stuff, all tricky stuff's done. So basically chuck a bag over it. So we'll just chuck a bag over it, full car. Just a plastic bag in what we normally do. Cut the hole out, and then just take them 10 minutes tops, and that's what we'll end up doing with that. But there's no point in putting it on now because there's a car in oven what it needs to paint, and if it's raining and stuff like that, he's got to reverse this out to get that out, or that if something needs moving. So yeah, probably I've left it like that because I didn't know if he were coming for Audi as well, so it can be shoved forward and then we can get Audi out. So I'll just leave it drivable, mobile. We can get it right shop if we need to. We don't have to put it on skids and that to move it about. So yeah, it can just go in oven when it's ready. It's probably going to be waiting for me Monday. So if it's Monday, if I had paint for it, I'd chuck it in there and paint it. But there's a car in. But yeah, I'd probably just, like I said, if we weren't waiting for paint to dry and stuff like that, that would take 20 minutes to paint. So Right, I didn't have enough paint to paint it, so I've just found some red in back, and I've just basted it with some red that's kind of similar. I've only got a little bit of paint, so I'm just going to put one coat of this over, because it's already red, it should cover with just one coat. So I'm going to put one coat on it, let that dry off, and then just put a drop coat on it to like flick into it, do it. And that's it, that's all I'm doing with it. It's a trade card anyway. So just flick that bumper that way because I don't want to get too much red going that way. So I'm just trying to keep it local, if you like, keep it smaller, because I'm just flicking into the bumper for a little scuff that were in it. Right, it's always nice just to send them straight out off at gun, but I've got a run in it here. I'm going to show you it run. Let's see if we can get it on here. Can you see? I'm going to run here and here. Just going to show you that get it out like my way, because ideal way is just a 1500. I'm going to hit it with a 500 and then go over it with a 1500 afterwards, because I find it just quicker and easier for me. So 500 dry, flat block. I'll just show you it because it's highlighted. My phone so I can see it. Get nice and close. What's that like? So yeah, you can see the run's gone now. So I'm going to get a 1500 and rub that wet now with 1500, but we've just got a delivery of roofs. So I'm just going to spin camera onto them for my other video and unload these roofs. Bit of water, 1500s. Dry it. Bit of G60, just any compound fast cut, all this stuff. When it's not blocked. Who is it? No, I ain't saved it now. They don't fucking ring me, what do I need to save my number for? That's all, I'll check it. Just make sure it's not too just nice. Just run on it with a soft head. Sometimes use a bit of polish if you wanted to, but I just use this stuff and just a softer head. Just because I'm lazy, but it does it. Right, and that's that job done. I'll just show you it. So yeah, that can go.